Good evening, everyone. This is again Volleyball Explained podcast in our review of the World Championship 2025 with Italy champions for second time in a row. And this evening with Mark and Ronnie, we will comment on what happened in the Philippines. Guys, how are you first of all?
Very good. Thank you, Bogdan. Thanks for inviting me. It's always fun to talk about volleyball, like you know.
I'm okay. Thank you, Bogdan. It has been a long time since we get together to, freely speak about the sport that all we love. So, yeah, thank you very much.
Probably you're going to expect for me to start with something along the champions, the vice champions, or whatever the surprises during the World Championship. But no, I won't start with that. And for your surprise, I will ask you to start with a topic of your choice, linked, of course, to the World Championship, because we will not talk about football or tennis or I don't know what else. Mark, let's go.
Well, let's see. One of the topics that I want to talk or start talking is the World Championship of upsetting. Too many surprises. Teams that should have advanced at least to the eighth final round, dropping in group phase. Then you have Filipino team trying to qualify, and at the end they didn't get the result that they wanted. Sorry. Then you have, of course, my team Cuba performing very very bad. Also Germany. I mean, a lot of teams, and then you have those teams that come in the middle, the transition, like Finland, Belgium performing well, especially Belgium that will be part of the VNL next year. They bring a glimpse of what they can bring to the competition, and of course Finland also have a bright future. Czech Republic with that fourth place. It was an strange competition to say the least, and I think that it will be very hard to match in the future years, especially with the bracket system that, let's see, somehow help at least the home team to advance to the next round at expenses of having a very, let's not say weak but modest side of the bracket, and the other one packed with the best team that you can find today. As a matter of fact, Italy was gold. They were in the low side of the bracket, and Poland was bronze. So that means that it will be very hard to have this kind of competition in the future, especially in the next one will be in Poland, with Poland being the first seed because they are host. And yeah, that's for me was the principal problem that I had with this championship. Of course, if Cuba had to qualify to the next round, okay, not so bad. But at the end, Brazil was another big surprise for me, and I know that at that time it was hard to understand, but with the past of the Bernardo mother, was understandable that these young players they were looking for help and it wasn't there. So very disappointing performance from Brazil. Actually, the worst performance in a World Championship for them. So yeah, that's all from my side for now. Thank you.
I think that's a really good topic because it's one that a lot of people talked about. the host team being the first seed, this is always the way. Was the coach of Australia or assistant coach of Australia in the Sydney Olympics, and we had the good pool. So this is in 2022 was even more, let's say, uneven because Slovenia always took the second seed. So that made things more difficult. But some of the performances were really interesting. Belgium, especially because one of the I think the characteristics of the Belgian performance is that they didn't play any competition this year. So they didn't play in Golden League. They only played in World Championships. And so I think that you can say that they were in better shape than the teams that played VNL. And you can say, maybe you can say the same about Czech Republic, about Finland, and Portugal also, who all of them had good results, and they had a much less demanding competition season. And perhaps that is also one part of it.
I would like to ask you about the formula. One more question about the formula, because this formula, according to which the teams that played in one pool can face each other again in the quarterfinals. Do you like this formula? Because during the youth championships, it was totally different, and it was possible. Okay, there are 4 teams were out of the groups, so they could face each other in the semifinals. But do you like this formula where they can face each other in the quarterfinal phase?
I don't have a positive or bad opinion. I think if you want to become champion, you have to defeat the everyone, So it doesn't matter if you get USA in the group and then later in the quarterfinals. You have to beat them twice, and it's always hard when beaten when it matters. So from the coaches and players' perspective, I think is that second game, that elimination game, is always hard. But I don't have any bad opinion about it. Sorry, Mark.
It was for me a little bit strange because I'm sure it's the first time that I've seen it, but I don't have a very strong opinion about it. Maybe it would be more interesting to play different teams. That it's not possible for example, Belgium and Italy played 2 times. I mean, that didn't help Belgium, but I like Ronnie. I don't have a really strong opinion about it.
Yeah, the element of surprise of Belgium was already gone. They were to that match like, okay, we will do the same. We will try to do the same that we did in group phase, but Italy was just playing at another speed, let's say, and they obliterated they beat everyone basically. Bulgaria was the only one that took a set in the entire elimination phase. So I mean, it was a different Italy from the groups, and I mean, you have to know better. You have to know better your players to ask them to perform well when it matters, and this is not always easy to do. People have different, different. I don't know the word how to explain, but everyone is different in their own way, and manage a group that talented like Poland or Italy and ask them to perform well when it matters must be hard. At least in that Poland game, I don't know how they managed to beat Poland so, let's say, not so hard, but not so easily either. Yeah, it was impressive. It was like another different team from 1 month ago at BNL when they looked so hopeless, to say the least. And I think Poland suffered that after the second set. I knew that it was very hard to come back from that, and yeah, uh, very strange victory for Italy, but they won, and that for me was the final of the World Championship. Uh, let's respect Bulgaria because they put at the fight too, but you know,
We won a set.
and a medal. That not many people can say that won a medal with such a young group. So congratulations again.
Let's continue the topic about the match between Italy and Poland, because the banner I prepared is Italy's second time in a row. By the way, there is a very interesting statistics that after 1990, the team that won the World Championship wins it at least one more time in a row. So Italy won it 1994, 98. Brazil won it 02, 06, 10. Poland won it 14, 18, and now Italy wins it 2 times in a row. So the last team that won it just once, I think, is USSR. What was it?
United States, 1986.
United States before that. Yeah, United States in 86.
The two before that were USSR.
USSR, yeah. So the last time that a team won it just once and didn't repeat it the next time was 86. But let's talk about the match between Italy and Poland, because I was not able to watch it completely from start to finish, but the lack of Bartosz Kurek, how was it that way, that the lack of Kurek was so crucial, or was it actually in your opinion? Mark, what do you think?
In my opinion, I watched the game live. I heard from my contacts that about half an hour before the match that Kurek wouldn't play. I don't think that Kurek was in his best shape. I mean, he's 37, 38. He's not the player that he was in 2018. But it was clear to me that the team missed him, missed his personality. He is in some way the emotional leader of the team, especially if Fornal is not playing, and he was also injured in some way. So Sasak played really good VNL, and he deserved to. Had a great season, won the championship in Poland, but he was a little bit nervous in the beginning, and Commander then was nervous to play with him, and then Semenyuk and Leon couldn't score because Italian block and defense was really fantastic, and then everything goes from there. And my feeling was that the Poland missed the security of Kurek, his experience and his personality more than his skill in some way.
Nikola Kosev is saying why Fornal received 0 balls for attack vs Italy and Shelpuk was not put by Grebic. He used so many players in the VNL, and when it matters, he used only 3. This is a topic that actually reminds me of something else. We were talking how in VNL coaches are trying to save their players' energy, changing the team, starting with players that will not play later during the year. And actually, in the World Final, were two teams that actually I think they played mostly with the same teams. Italy was one of the favorites in the VNL that actually didn't do that many changes in their squad. I think. What do you think about those lines of thoughts?
I think we have to, when we say we have to, of course, not you, Mark, not you, Bogdan, of course, not me, but people in general, we have to stop assume things, because most part of the problematics and situations that that players and coaches live during the competition, we don't know what's going on. And it has been like that for forever. Like, volleyball is not a sport that you can know everything publicly, hours before the game. And I think Schalpuk, for now, they weren't in their best shape. I think something happened, because Gerwig started the game with Leon, of course, and Semenyuk. Then he delayed the entrance of, for now, at least till the second set, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, Sasak suffered the 1 month rest syndrome. I think Italians studied him very well, because he have a good VNL finals, which was very, very, very good. And yeah, I think that's what happened. So unfortunately, this is not VNL. This is a more important trophy, and he was like not so good the first two sets, and I think that was the first exploit that Italy used to, like, put themselves into the with the control of the game. No, but of course we cannot only talk about Poland, because the Italian did their homework, especially Yuri Romano, who for years has been criticized for his lack of performance when he matters. I don't know, in Piacenza, of course, and then in the Italian national team, he has been suffered the public criticisms from people that don't know him very well, of course. And yeah, mm, everything in Italy worked, and the two or three things that Poland could do, it didn't work. So of course, I know Mark will talk about this, but the entrance of Sani in service also helped the Italians get a lot of break points, and of course Romano was big also. So I think that day, no matter Poland bring to the table, Italy will match and at the end win the game. Uh, the result won't change for me.
Mark, we have a question here from Borislav Krachanov. After Italy lost to Belgium in the group and had to fight to stay in the tournament, can you read it as a reincarnation against Ukraine? Because it was take it or leave it, the tournament.
It can be like this. My general feeling of the whole of these teams, Italy, Poland, and to some degree probably France and Brazil. These teams that are expecting to play in the second round, they also manage the tournament differently. So Belgium, they start the tournament knowing that they have to play game 1, 2, and 3, and some teams are getting ready to play game 4, game 5, and so on. with France, you can see that this cost them, because if they weren't ready to play game one, then they were in big trouble. But we know that the French team, this happens many times before. So they haven't had a good result in World Championships since 2014 for this exact reason. So, but with Italy, I am sure that they wanted to win this game, but they didn't have to win this game, and they knew that in 2 days' time, in 3 days' time, their weight training will be organised so that they will be in better shape, and that's what it was for them. With Poland, I was expecting something similar with Poland, because in VNL it was like that. In the finals they played really well in the semi-final and the final of VNL, but they didn't manage this timing quite as well as the Italians. But for sure, losing to Belgium made sure that they were focused for the rest of the tournament.
Okay, I will try here to combine two questions. The serving of the team of Italy in the final was very special. I mean, 7 aces of Botu and 5 aces of Romano. Do you think this could be described in one of the tendencies of the game?
It was a really big point for Italy, and they served not only in the final but in all of the knockout games against Belgium, against Poland was the same. And not only they had big service series from different servers. Micheletto against Belgium, he had different serves, different variations, and he made massive problems for them. And it shows what's possible with serving. I would like to know exactly how they practiced it, but their serving was exceptional, and their ability to also make these serves at the biggest moments was fantastic. It's the best 3 matches of serving I can remember seeing. I don't want to say ever, but it was a really big difference.
Okay, but can you can you name another tendency that came actually to that comes to your mind now that you noticed during the tournament, except because for me, serving hard and receiving not that well, it's going to be something that we will see a lot more often. So playing in the middle, playing pipe will actually be part more and more as a secondary phase of the game, with free balls, with second attacks, third attacks after being patient, etc., and not in most time like it was before, or at least it was more common before.
You're right that the serving part hasn't changed. This tendency is the same as maybe 15 years. Volleyball has been developing, men's volleyball at least has developing like this, but the difference was the tendency was the same, but the difference was Italy's ability to serve in these crucial moments. The tactical things, there were 2 tactical things that were a little bit interesting. One was how the teams managed the possibility to move the receivers, to move before the serve. I don't like this rule. I think that it's, let me say, it's against the spirit of the game. The game depends on rotation, and I also think that it can make rallies shorter. But how the teams did it was interesting, and the US team. I didn't watch the scouting video, but it seemed like that they were changing the receiver's position with Shoji depending on the server, depending on the time of the set, and that he had a lot of freedom to make changes to go where he thought the ball was going. And that's one really interesting thing, that how teams will manage that. And Micheletto against Belgium, one of the things I really noticed was how he served in those situations, how he was using short serves and strong serves and different angles to attack the receivers, not only serving with power.
Yeah.
And the other,
Go on.
The other tactical thing that was interesting to me was how the US played, because they played really, really fast and a really, really fast pipe. And this was more or less successful for them until they played a team that I don't think that, with respect, Bulgarians are really great individual blockers, but they don't always block well as a team. But once they start to get into some rhythm, it was really difficult for USA to side out, especially with the performance of the opposite. So I wonder if this is something that we're going to see in the future, or if it was just one tournament with the players that they have. They wanted to try to see what would work. So those are the two tactical things that I found interesting that I will be watching in the next months and year.
I would like to note something that I noticed, and it is not a tendency for sure, but it's something that was pretty interesting for me. In rotation number 1 with the setter in position 1, Belgium were playing with Sam Deroux receiving in position number 4. So after receiving, he was playing a short ball next to the setter. Then the middle was playing a shoot ball at a distance with the setter, and the Ferry Regers was attacking in position. So there was not a player that was attacking in position number 1 in this case, or 2, whatever. So that was something that I have never witnessed before, I think.
This was one thing that I did study because I saw it on social media, and how it evolved was that the normal P1, the setter in position 1, they play Regers running behind the court to spike from position 2, and Deroux spiking in position 4. But in some teams, some situations, and it was the first match against Italy that I looked at, they had the float server serving the ball to more or less short to position 4. And in that case, it was not possible for Regers to go all the way around. He didn't have time to run. And so this was obviously something that they practiced, because they did it several times, that they played with the 2 first tempo, Regers in position 4, and the receiver in position 1 was actually ready to spike. So it was well rehearsed. As soon as the serve was coming short, I don't know if they call something or how they recognize the situation, but it was obviously a set play. And this is another good example of how teams are managing the new reception rules, the new rotation possibilities, how teams are serving against the new rotation possibilities, and then the next step, what is plan B if the first action doesn't doesn't work. So this was a really fun wrinkle to watch.
So Ronnie is a little bit quiet for a while, so I will ask him something that is pretty much interesting for me. So Ronnie, where is the power of Bulgaria?
Looking back in 2022 when they lost to Mexico, this was a team that have nothing to win or nothing to lose. I think they just stayed there because it was something that they have they had to do at that time, but they had not decided to do it. You also mentioned that when a team has no spirit to represent your country, it is hard to keep them motivated. First of all, I think the hiring of Blengini helped in some aspect of the game, bring them a new way to play. Let's see, to understand what they are doing in the court, and not only in practices. I think many people don't think really that coaches impact players so much, and because they are the players, the ones who are playing. And I keep saying, if that were the case, why Poland, Italy, Belgium, I know, whatever, Slovenia spend a lot of money and a lot of time reading curriculums and trying to find the ideal person to fill the job, because it's not easy. It's not easy, and I think the coach is the brain of the operation, not only in the technical aspect, but bring together a team, a group of individuals to play as a team. Not everyone, uh, not everyone as individual. And second, I've been saying this for many time. I didn't like at the first all the hype that Simeon Nikolov was getting in his college year, because I think NCCA is not it's not real volleyball. It's more like TikTok volleyball. So thank you, coach, for agreeing with me. But but at the end, I think he filled those shoes very well, and he's only 18 years old. I think he have a lot to improve, of course, especially the mental parts. Of course, I don't expect to. I don't ask anything a kid of 18 years old. I mean, I was 18 once. You were 18 once. Especially coach was 18 once many years ago. And when you are a teen, when you are young, you do that. You make mistakes and you learn from it. So it is good that he have his older brother, which is also young, to help him in this process. And I think the team might find, or already found, their leaders, and this is something that not many teams have: leaders inside of the team, and positive leaders in this case, who don't think they are the best of the best, but they show that they are best by helping his teammates. And the way Simeon played against USA, especially in the third and fourth and fives and tiebreak, and then of course against Czech Republic, it is something, and this is a young player that had, like, 1 year ago, a surgery to treat an hernia, and he come back strong. And yeah, I also think, and I already told you, that if Simeon didn't injury in second week against Turkey, Bulgaria will easily snatch that VNL final spot. I think they are. I think Bulgaria is the team of the future. I don't know if they will be champions of anything, because it is hard to be a champion, especially when you have such a strong opposition like Japan, with which also got eliminated, like Brazil, like Italy, Poland, and so on. But yeah, I look forward to see them performing in the future. I think you have a really talented group, and it is a bless. I lived this 15 years ago with Cuba winning that silver against. Well, we won against a good Serbian team. Before that, we beat Bulgaria, a good Bulgarian team. But yeah, we didn't enjoy that much. But I think Bulgaria can now say they are back after many years in the shadows. I think your lowest ranking was like 13 or something
Yeah,
like that.
almost 30, I think, 2 years ago, something like.
Now you
Because
are like
before
nine or eight.
before the Olympic qualifier 2023, I think we were very close to 30th.
Yeah, I mean the Bulgaria is a team of the future, and that's it. I looking forward to see more of them, and but for now I will see this. Don't think this medal means something more than the actual medal. Next year will be harder. Everyone want to try to beat the silver and the bronze and the gold, and yeah, I mean, I just hope that they look forward and don't stay watching this achievement as the end of the line. I want to them to play more and show what they can do with the years, of course.
Mark, I will tell you a story that I don't know if you know, because it's probably not people are not familiar outside of the Bulgarian volleyball community. But last year during the VNL, we were playing USA on Saturday, so we won against the USA. That was a very college USA team without. Even without some of the players that were playing now in the Philippines. And on Sunday they had to play against the Netherlands. And in the morning, instead of having a recovery training or something along those lines, they had a 3 hours fitness training. And back to these days, last year, Vlado Nikolov, the father of Alex and Moni, was something like, I think, a team manager or something like this. I don't know what exactly, coordinator of the national teams. I'm not sure what was exactly his position. But he went to Blengini and asked him, Kiko, this is not right. I know this is not right. Why are you doing it? And Blengini looked at him and asked him, Vlado, can we go? Can we get the top 8 in the VNL without our 2 best hitters? Because Alex and Martina Tanasov were not there due to injuries, both last year. And Vlado answered, no, we won't be able to do this. So Vlado, I'm not interested in this game. I'm interested in who is going together with me to Los Angeles. What do you think about this?
I think it's a great story. I don't know. I think that it's an interesting story, and every coach has to sell his team one vision, one idea, one goal. And if this was the way that he sold it and the players bought his vision, maybe they did, because it looks like they did, then it's perfect.
Okay, let's end with the topic of Bulgaria. Nikola Kosev is asking, and I will link to that to the Japanese performance. What is the chance Japanese league to be the best in the world given the money, games, and more non-Japanese players? I think I'm sure a lot of world-class players are going to play in Japan next season. I mean, the season that is starting in several weeks.
I think that the best leagues in the world, because there are always restrictions on the number of foreign players, depends on the quality of the local players. This is what decides in the end the quality of the league. So the Italian league, all of the Italian players play at home. Nobody plays outside except Romano now. And then they have a whole bunch of the best players in the world, maybe not all of them because some are in Japan and so on and so forth. And I think that the reality is that the Japanese players outside the national team are not at the level that the league can be the best quality league in the world. Can be entertaining, can be exciting. It's fun to watch Nemir score 35, 40 points every match and have he had for the season attack percentage of 60%. I mean, this is a kind of entertainment. But I am skeptical that the Japanese league will be the best in the world. The best is not the same as most entertaining. It doesn't mean that it doesn't have value, and it doesn't mean that it's not great opportunity for players to experience Japan and to earn a lot of money. But best, I don't think there is a good chance.
Especially with that 2 games weekend that affect too much in the long shoot to the players. Nobody wants to play twice, Friday and Saturday. I remember this from World League when this was the format, Fridays and Saturdays. Some places play like Friday and Sunday to try not taxing too much the players, but at the end of the day, they expand the number of foreign because of that. The season is too long. The matches are too demanding at the long term. And like Mark said, the level of a league is determined by the local players. And even though the Italians, most part of the teams don't have Italian in their most offensive position, like opposite or outside hitter, they are self-sufficient by filling those spots in liberos, middle blockers, and they trying to bring the best talent that they can. It's not always the best. We have been watching the recent years Italian talents, or at least foreign players who play in Italy, like Cosamerni, of course, and among others, to leave the Italian league to pursue a more economic deal. And this is what is happening. Japan is bringing money, but they don't allow, at least for this season, they won't allow to play with 3 foreigners. Maybe next one. And someone will not play too much. Let's see how they manage to find a solution to this.
Okay, I put this banner of Brazil, Japan, and France. Of course, we mentioned their, let's say, their failures in the group stage. But I have a question for Mark about Japan. When I was watching their matches, the first match against Turkey and the second match against Canada, I was thinking that I'm watching Japan from 10, 12, 13 years ago, when they are playing great defense. They they have the counter attacks, but they don't have, almost with some exceptions, anyone that can score from a high ball position. Do you agree on such a bold statement?
The way you described it, I think, is perfect description. This was Japan from 10 years ago. And I was surprised because Nishida was missing, and he's an important player in the team. But the way that they were organized was to play around the receivers. So Takahashi and Ishikawa. I always want to say Izumikawa because
no, Ishikawa. Sorry, yes.
Izumikawa was a player from the 90s. So this is you said before how old I was, Ronnie. But those guys were the most important players anyway. So I didn't expect there to be a really big difference. But it seemed, they were missing whatever thing it was that they had the last 2 years especially, and the setter was a difference. But okay, we are talking transition balls. We are not talking about one against ones. We are talking about scoring against a double block. And I have conversations with my friends my coaching friends in the last couple of years that Ishikawa was the best player in the world, and he played some amazing seasons in Japan, in Italy. I didn't say I agreed with it, but we have the conversation.
Okay.
But he definitely, like in Milano, he was the best player of the team that made the finals. He was the leader and a really great performer in big moments. And he was, I don't know, I wonder if he was injured somehow, that he wasn't playing at the level. So I agree. They look like the Japan from 10 years ago.
I think the other, Ronnie, do you want to add something? And also the same question. Okay, not the same statement, of course, but Brazil. Okay, Brazil won against China and lost the game against China. That was actually the reason for them to be out of the group stage. And
Serbia.
A set. I mean, but in Bulgarian we use also a game, blah blah blah. They lost a set against China, and that was the reason for them to. One of the reasons, of course, because they lost to Serbia. But where do you think is the problem of Brazil?
I don't think there is a huge problem like many people want to see. I think Brazil come from a diamond generation that hardly will be matched in not now and now never. I think what they did in the first decade of the 21st century is unmatched by any team. We are talking about being in the final at every single tournament, not only World League, but majors as well. Winning one gold at the Olympics, a silver, another silver in the second decade, and then a gold, then 3 golds at World Championship. I mean, that performance of like 15 years or something, 10 years or something, will be hard to replicate. And people expect that Brazil play at that same level with the actual generation, which is, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Brazil right now is like the 95, 96 Brazil. At that time, they were like building something. New players came in. I think Giva came in 96 or something like that. And then other players. And it wasn't easy to do. We are talking about, like, for example, Giva was gold in World Championship with 26 years or 28, something like that. 28 was in Athens at the Olympics. So you see kids basically like Lucas Berman or Darlan playing against the best player in the world, and of course you don't have a Ricardo Garcia at the moment. I think Cachopa is a good setter, at least decent setter, but he is not Ricardo. And the outside hitter position with Lucarelli fading due to his age is problematic for me. And yeah, they stopped caring in age group categories. No gold since 2009. This is a problem because if you don't have the foundation, you cannot aspire to build the Burj Khalifa or something like that. So you have to have like foundations to create something. And Brazil stopped to create that foundation. They will be relevant. I don't know. Maybe with these new players going to Italy, Berman, Bento, Darlan, of course. Who knows? But for now, I think they will be like a team that inspire you something, but not like that other team 15 years ago.
Okay. Yeah, go on.
To Ronnie's point, he made the point earlier that the importance of the coach, and obviously I agree because it's how I get paid. But really, at the end of the day, it's about the players, and you can be Blengini if you take away the Nicola brothers. It doesn't matter. You can have 4 Blenginis and 3 Bernardinos and Velasco from 1989, and you are not going to win anything. With respect, of course. And the level of the Brazilian players right now, exactly as Ronnie said, is not the level of the 2004 team. And I mean, you can see this with every team. The ups and downs are nearly always related to the level of the players that come through the system. If you are lucky enough to have brothers are good, or 3 or 4 players from one age group, like the Polish team, who can have Fornal, Kokonowski, Huber, also Kvolek, but he's not in the national team right now. This is one age group. They come to the national team at the same time, and from straight away they are a different team. So I'm sure that the Brazilian level, the Brazilian development is enough that they will have a lot of good players, so they will always have a good team. And then you just have to wait until you have one special player. I mean, the Italians are the same with Gianelli, Micheletto, Lavia, all in one age group, more or less, plus minus 2 years, and this is the way it works.
The last country, the last team that is in this group of 3 is France, and like the French like saying, excuse my French, but la guerre meurt ne se rend pas. So the guard dies but doesn't surrender. So do you think that these old guards they have need to give up? Because for me it looked like they need to.
I think French were like tired after winning their second Olympic. It's not easy to come in a year that like Mark knows this before the rename or new branch volleyball world. The year after the Olympics was a year that players usually got some rest most of them, if they are good enough, had a contract in China or a less demanding league, and earn good money. And that's it. That was like a sabbatic year for most part of the player. Then you have this situation that the opportunity presents itself. Let's try to win the world championship, a title that we never won, and most part of the players were not in shape. Like, for example, the spiritual leader of this team, Erwin Engapet, didn't have a pleasant season, to say the least. Then Patry also have physical problems, uh, leg off, of course, and so on. So I think they played at their best. It wasn't enough because, like I say, the opposition was too strong, and they had bad luck because they ended in the low side of the bracket with Poland and Italy, and they didn't even make out of the group because they were beaten by Argentina, which is also a very good team. That
And Finland.
that recently announced that Mendes will no longer be the coach of them. So let's see what future brings to Argentina. But again, France will remain a good team, but it wasn't meant to be this year. So let's see what happens.
I can only agree. They have been together for a long time with a lot of emotional situations. Of course, the Olympics last year being the biggest one. But as I said from the beginning, from my point of view, this was from the beginning since Tilly took over the team in 2013. It was always a really up and down team. They could be European champions and the next year losing the first round of VNL, and they always somehow managed to have bad world championships. It's not, in some way, it's not even a surprise that they lost. I mean, it is a surprise because of the quality of the team, but it's not a team that you can ever put money on if you were a gambling man, which I'm not.
Okay, and I started with a surprise, and I will finish with a surprise. So
to close the topic.
Yeah.
To close the topic. Sorry, before you go, let's remember that when France win the first goal at Tokyo, months later they have to play the European Championship because it was a exceptional year, Olympics and European at the same time. They lost against Republic, something like that. They didn't really care about it, and who care when you are Olympic champion? So that situation is very particular. Also, where was very particular. Sorry, but you can continue.
You have hello from Michael Hicks, and for conclusion of the podcast, I will ask you to ask me something. Of course, about the World Championship.
No, I mean, for someone that live the way you live volleyball, and how many years you have been waiting for some result, at least, not only at young age, at young category age competition, which also have been good for Bulgaria. They were like world champions in girls U19 this year, and the previous year had been like silver and bronze in men. But for achieve something like that, I cannot imagine what were your feelings when you finally realized that you could get a medal when you beat USA. So that match, like for many Bulgarians, was a roller coaster of emotion, So yeah.
Yeah, for sure, because statistically, Bulgaria has only 2 world titles in team sports, and they are not men and women. Unfortunately, they are only youth categories. In 1991, we have the U20 youth category in men in Cairo, and now we have the U19 girls, women in Croatia, and this was very special because for so many years to get to a point where we have 2 finals. Okay, one of them is world champions in a youth category, but 2 world championship finals in a year, plus a 4th place and a 6th place in other youth categories, is something that proves that work is good, and it should continue to be in the same pace and quality for the next year also, in order to keep with that good results. Yeah. Some people are thinking why there are that many celebrations, the parade, the receptions of the players in the presidency or in the parliament, but people are probably forgetting, probably they are a little bit too much, but people are forgetting that we didn't have a gold or a silver in a team sport competition except the European Games in Baku 2015. They are a little bit different as a competition, let's admit. Since 1981, when our women's team won the European Championship, and before that we had the silver in Moscow, the Olympic Games. So it's normally to be that emotional and excited, especially when it comes to team sports, because in Bulgaria we are used to having time to time successes in individual sports. We didn't have a gold medal for 13 years in Olympics. However, individual sport is pretty much okay most of the time for a country like ours. I'm not saying small country, but not very big, for sure.
I mean, look at Slovenia. Slovenia has been around.
Exactly.
Slovenia have been around now like 15 years ago, more or less. They have been able to like find 2 or 3 players that bring or brought like in the past something to the table. Now I think they will struggle a little bit because of the transition is never easy, especially with old players retiring or something like that. But yeah, it was remarkable, and I think this will be a feat. Remember, for the next 50 years or something like that. So yeah, I see too many fans lurking in the commentary box. But yeah, just to say, I think every Bulgarian now, after waiting patiently, can now taste some of that cake and enjoy, because this is just the beginning. As for the rest, my part, trying to Cuba will try to win Bulgaria again for the 3rd year in a row, for the 4th year in a row, and say that we will beat the new silver medal in the World Championship. Yeah, but that's it. Enjoy.
Mark, anything from your side?
Yeah, my question is, what will this mean for the Bulgarian league? Will we see more sponsors, more Bulgarian players staying at home, more foreigners? or will everybody enjoy the performances, look forward to the next European Championships, and keep everything the same?
Honestly, let's start from a little bit sometimes ago, some years ago. In the last years, there is a visible improvement in our club league. I mean, if you ask me a similar question 5-6 years ago, I would say that Bulgaria is outside top 15 of the club leagues as a quality. Now I would say we are along the lines of 8, 9, probably something like this. This is my estimation.
And also more money, I think. Yes.
Yeah, a little bit more money for sure. And that was a chain of events. I mean, it's not the even I would say that last year was even better than the last season. And let's see what is going to be now, because for the people who don't know, Matej Kaziskin going back to Bulgarian league, and he will play for Lokomotiv Plovdiv. Lokomotiv is the vice champion from the last season, so they are having a very very competitive team, of course, with Matej. Even he's already 41. I hope that the league and their exceptionally effective work in the social media will continue during this season. By the way, it's interesting that for 2 years we have also a fantasy league game in the Bulgarian league. That was pretty much surrealistic if you asked me that 5 years ago, of course.
Right.
So the product is getting better, and I hope that the clubs will work along the lines of getting more people in the halls, and that could start firstly with we are having Super Cup finals, just like in Italy. 4 teams will play a little bit more than 2 weeks. On 18th and 19th, the first 4 teams from the last championship will play, and in the Levski Sofia Hall. So I hope this will be the beginning of another improvement of Bulgarian volleyball, and of course we can use this inertia from the World Championship.
Good. I hope there is more progress in Bulgarian volleyball.
Yes, and of course these changes in Champions League volleyball were a little bit very an issue for us, because we had the permanent spots in the Champions League stage for our champions Levski and Maritza, and now we don't have them. With these wild cards given to several teams for honestly obvious reasons. Still, okay, let's see how things work out, and I hope that the passion of the people will transfer, won't stay only in this space of national teams volleyball, but will transfer also to clubs volleyball. But this is, of course, depending again also on the clubs, and not only on the people that are watching. So guys, thank you. I think it was very, very detailed analysis of the World Championship. Of course, we can't talk about all teams that were participating, but that's pretty normal. So thank you again for having this conversation, and see you soon again.
I just want to ask Mark, now that the beach World Championship is coming up in Adelaide, how is the weather in November in Adelaide?
In Adelaide, the weather in November is actually, it's a good time in Adelaide because it's summer by European standards. It's already summer, so it will be high 20s. But the hottest part of the year is January, February. So it will be plenty hot. But the city is my home city. It's a fantastic city to enjoy, and the volleyball will be, well, championships are the best in the world.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, guys. See you very soon. And thanks to all the spectators that watch this podcast. And I hope you're going to do this also the next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.